Hi, welcome back to my channel. And as you guys can see, I was reacting to this, and yeah, I forgot my mic wasn't plugged in, so you guys couldn't hear me at all. Fuck, man. This is gonna be my second try. Yeah. So yeah, today we'll be reacting to How Hentai Destroys Your Mind. It's made by Pax Tube, and I'll be honest, he has some really great takes. Check him out. Today I'm gonna talk a little bit personal, and because as a person who has lived in this generation, it's truly deplorable what hentai is, and how it affects your mind. Now, if you guys don't know what hentai is, it's okay. The video will explain it soon, but it's truly disgusting, guys. And if you guys know what hentai is and you're masturbating to it consistently on a daily basis, gotta stop, man. It's not very good. But with that out of the way, let's react.
Hentai. Few things on the modern internet are as destructive. That's not an exaggeration. We live in a time where the average person takes it for granted that porn and hentai don't harm them, when in reality all scientific research shows they do. So
Not even scientific research. Anybody who has... You don't even have to have a porn addiction. Just if you masturbate consistently, it's... Oh man, you're gonna feel some of the side effects. And you don't need any scientific research. You can feel it. You can feel it. Every single day you can feel it, man.
how did we get here, and what can be done about it? Anime is the definition of a medium with big ups and big downs. On one hand, it can be a beautiful art style that produces brilliant shows. There are thousands of anime fans who enjoy their favorite anime without making it weird. Anime can produce many meaningful discussions about themes and messages. But just as the culture surrounding anime has its highs, it has its dark lows. Hentai is the darkest of them all. In 2020, I made a video titled How Pornography Destroys Your Mind. Everything I said in that video is as true today as it was then. In fact, since I made that video, even more research on the negative effects of pornography has come out. The mountain of proof continues to grow ever higher, and there's no end in sight. First of all, for people not acquainted with what hentai means, here's its definition. Hentai is a work of anime or manga, or any similar medium, that contains sexual or pornographic art. To simplify, anime is a popular Japanese art style. Hentai is anime depicting sex. For this reason, the hentai industry could basically be viewed as the dark counterpart of the anime industry. While anime and manga focus mainly on actually telling stories, hentai focuses on being sexual material. Now, to be clear here, hentai is a form of pornography and meets the dictionary definition of it. However, despite this, there remains a vocal minority who seem to think that somehow, hentai doesn't have the same negative effects as real porn.
That's completely wrong. Hentai is way worse. Because it's art. It allows certain genres to exist, where maybe in reality not maybe, but 100% in reality it will not be accepted, right? So I don't feel any joy or pride for saying any of this. It's a great deal of shame, pray to God. It's absolutely deplorable. I don't like seeing art portrayed in this way, but I've seen, where it would be this girl, and then she would get raped, and then maybe her hands get cut off. A very popular one of this is, I forget what the series is, but it was, fuck. I don't remember. I'll be honest, I just don't want to talk about it, right? Like, it's truly a great deal of shame. And, I want to vomit just thinking about it, but I think it was Tansha? Something like that, but it was like an anime about military, and about how, and in the hentai it depicted her being captured by the military base and being tortured basically. She was a woman, so she got yeah, things happen. Hey man, I'm here to express my true opinions. I don't care if I get demonetized, but it's truly disgusting. Truly disgusting. And then, there's another genre which is like lolicon. Basically, loli is slang in Japanese for describing a young girl, very very young girl that is not of age. And lolicon would mean like somebody who is attracted to this very very young girl, which is not of age. It sexualizes children. It's absolutely disgusting. Nobody should be seeing stuff like that. When I was younger, when I was looking at it, hey, I was like what, 10 years old. It was when I was very very young, right? Even then, I felt it just didn't feel right. None of this feels right, especially now. It's disgusting. And because, right, hentai is like a type of quote-unquote art. It's not actual reality. They allow these genres to be popularized and to be viewed, especially the lolicon genre, which is I think it was like 78K amount of doujinshis on it, and doujinshi is like a manga form of hentai. Now, I'm not gonna go too in depth about it, but it's absolutely disgusting.
They've convinced themselves that because hentai is drawn, masturbating to it will somehow have no effect on them. Not only is this false, but I'll be making the case in this video that hentai is probably even worse for you than actual pornography. A bold claim, but give me the chance to make my case. And now, with the stage all set, let's get into exactly how hentai destroys your mind. To the average person, hentai probably doesn't sound like it's an issue outside of Japan, but in the last 2 decades, that's all changed. Hentai websites generate tens of millions of views from people across the planet, not just Asia. Pornhub, the biggest porn site in the world, released a report in 2019 that found that hentai was its most searched category. Any online anime
Not even surprised.
fan has heard of someone who's watched hentai. Hentai websites are widely shared anywhere anime is discussed. Hentai may have started in Japan, but in a way it's also not truly Japanese. Before 1945, Japan enforced strict censorship laws that forbade depiction of the sex acts shown in hentai. Japan, like much of the world, had strict moral values that the population was expected to abide by. It was only after World War II, when a liberal government was enforced on Japan by the United States, that hentai began to emerge. The US occupied the country and rewrote the Japanese constitution, repealing Japan's former censorship laws. From that point on, slowly but surely, pornography of all kinds was shown to the population under the guise of freedom of speech. One might look at it as a sick way for the occupiers to pacify the Japanese people. But regardless of its origins, the problem of hentai is no longer small or distinctly Japanese. Today, it's gone international. If you don't see any problem with this, let's recap just some of the scientifically proven negative effects of online porn. High chance of addiction, increased erectile dysfunction, loss of motivation, desensitization to normal sex acts, dulling of dopamine receptors, higher chance of divorce.
Again, you don't even need science. You don't need science for any of this shit. Personal experience dictates it, right? I'm not old enough, so I don't know if any of the I'm not old enough to have to be married, so I don't know anything about that. Erectile dysfunction, never had that, so I don't know about that. But I know it's high chance of addiction. Yes, loss of motivation. Desensitization to normal sex. Um. To me, it's I've never had sex yet, but what I know is it definitely desensitize it a little bit. For like if I'm looking at a lewd woman or a lewd photo of a woman, yeah, it makes it less appealing, definitely. And then dulling of dopamine receptors. Yeah, yeah.
and much more. If you're someone who ever watched porn or hentai on a regular basis, be honest with yourself. You likely felt some or all of these problems. One common argument defenders of hentai make is that hentai itself isn't harmful to a person, but rather the harm supposedly comes from their own shame for watching it.
What? That wouldn't make sense. What? If masturbation has no effect, or hentai or whatever, if it didn't have any effect, how the fuck does shame cause erectile dysfunction? I mean, okay, I have never experienced erectile dysfunction, but if it's scientifically proven, okay, I'll trust it a little. I'll keep that in mind. But how can shame bring erectile dysfunction? Interesting.
This is a sophisticated tactic of blaming the victims and deflecting blame from the true source of the problem. It's like saying to someone whose health is being destroyed by cigarettes that it's only happening because they're ashamed that they used the cigarettes. Other people acknowledge the harm of hentai on the individual, but defend it by saying that it only affects the person viewing it and has no effect on broader society.
No. The Pornhub, like on Pornhub, it was it hentai was number one? Yeah, no, that's really not surprising, and it just shows that it definitely affects a broad the masses. Yeah, I forgot my wording. Oh man, I don't know if I mentioned it in this video, but I got my flu shot and it's completely messing with my head right now. I might go on rants. I don't know. It's useless tangents. Please bear with me.
But as I'll demonstrate in this video, that's clearly wrong. It doesn't even pass a common sense check. Hentai is broadcast openly on the internet to millions, not to the individual. Japanese sociologist Kamio Ito studied hentai's effects for years and found in his research that it was causing men to retreat from real life into a world of imagination. Such men were no longer interested in real women or real relationships and were content to spend their days masturbating to fantasies. The effects of this trend on society are predictably catastrophic. Japan is of course the main creator and exporter of hentai, and it's viewed there more than any other country. Surveys there in recent years found that 70% of Japanese men aged 18 to 34 aren't in a relationship.
What the fuck? How?
And about half of this group have no interest in one. Japanese culture has become full of bizarre and freakish sexual things, such as public masturbation.
Oh god. Is this actually real? Oh man.
Booths and buying smellable panties from vending machines.
Okay. Yeah, smellable panties. I've seen that before. I'm not saying I've ever bought one, but I've seen them on a few YouTube channels.
This all matches with Kamio Ito's theory that hentai is causing Japanese youth to retreat from the real world into a fantasy world. And while we obviously can't blame hentai for all of this, it's certainly a key part. The trends in Japan, of course, can be extrapolated to the rest of the world. As I said, hentai can be addictive to anyone, not just the Japanese.
Again, speaking from personal experience, it's so easily accessible to anybody in the world. I was 8 at the time. I was 8 when I first discovered porn, and then hentai. But it's I all I had to do was go on my phone, search up porn. It's all I had to do. Nobody stopped me. Yes, my parents do have oh fuck. Does have oh god, some form of responsibility over that. But at the same time, right? I think it's because of how easily accessible it is that people who are younger and younger are able to view this shit. Everybody in my school has seen that shit. There might be a few, but those people are very rare, and those people are they're good people. I'd say they're very good people. But yeah.
And if you think that all sounded bad, buckle up, because we're just getting started. Something that makes hentai potentially even worse than regular porn is that, due to being animated and cartoonish, it's especially likely to draw in young people. Remember that the average age people first see porn online is the age of 11. A young person on the internet might stumble upon hentai because the animation style looks like other cartoons they've watched. To make matters even worse, pornographers often use characters from popular kids shows like Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, and even Western shows in extreme porn. This draws in
I've never thought about that. That's very interesting.
younger and younger people to make a habit of watching hentai. And all of this is happening at the same time that actual scientific research has found that almost nothing stunts a young person's sexual development more than using online porn. Now, a hentai defender might say, but their parents just shouldn't let them watch it. That's true, but this ignores that not all parents take proper care of their kids. If they did, we wouldn't be in this situation. And some simply don't understand just how bad the problem of porn and hentai on the internet is. No matter what, by leaving this issue completely unregulated, millions of kids are being left to the wolves. Hentai advocates, predictably, have no recourse for these people left behind.
You know what's really sad? These three people, but their names are, I believe, Connor and Joey. Yes, I've known them for a bit on YouTube. I don't know them personally, but I think they're absolutely great people. But they're some of like Joey defends hentai a lot. The guy. I try to show him real fast.
Millions of kids are being left.
Oh, but if you guys saw, it was that long-haired man. He defends hentai a lot. I believe these two probably defend hentai a lot, but they don't talk about it as much as the long-haired man. But yeah, it's really sad. They have a very large fan base as well. I think Connor here has like a few, like a million something, and then Garnt here has it's like 5 million, and then Joey, the long-haired man, has 10 million, something like that. And it's truly sad. Like they make great content. They're great people. I feel like, you know, just from looking at YouTube videos, they show respect. They're courteous, but at the same time, it's I just, they promote so much fucking hentai, and I don't think they realize the dangers of hentai. And then I think Joey also has talked to porn stars, a lot of fucking porn stars, and are good friends with one of them, which is Kaho something. But yeah,
Left behind. The truth is that people that
this girl, yeah, I've seen her before, but she's doing she's doing not very good things. She's not doing what God intended her to do. I'll tell you that. Nor is she doing anything based on God's will. And so as those three other guys.
advocate for hentai want more people addicted. They want more people who are just like them. Speaking of children, we should now talk about how hentai actually gets much darker than just showing sex. We can start with one of the most disgusting examples, the lolicon genre.
Oh god.
Now, the term lolicon itself should immediately ring alarm bells to any normal person. This is because it's based on the phrase lolita, which is a synonym for a young prepubescent girl, and this genre is exactly as twisted as you would expect. It shows sex involving young prepubescent girls, from preteens down to toddlers. Lolicon hentai essentially glorifies and popularizes child sex abuse to a wide audience. What are the effects of this? Well, we do know that over time, viewers of porn are desensitized to the acts they watch. When you couple this with lolicon, it paints a dark picture. Psychotherapist Sam Luley emphasized how hentai can desensitize people's minds. As a psychotherapist who specializes in sexuality, one trend I've seen over the years is how prolonged viewing of hentai can eventually impact one's arousal template. In other words, what people used to find arousing may no longer be enough, and the more deviant forms of sexualization become the new norm of arousal.
Yeah. God bless, man. Yeah.
He wrote about lolicon specifically. What can be problematic is that these types of cartoon depictions of willing, childlike sexual encounters normalize children as appropriate sexual partners. When a child is sexualized, the old social norms that protect children as off-limits are chipped away at and blurred. Thus, any kind of objectification of children as sex objects can either legitimize child sexual abuse or minimize its impact. Well, you heard the psychotherapist. Let's trust the science. But sadly, even this lowest form of hentai has its defenders.
This 12-year-old girl, yes,
Yeah, this is Joey.
maybe a 12-year-old girl, but it is just a drawing of a fictional 12-year-old girl. Nobody can do anything directly to this 12-year-old girl that will put them in harm's way.
Hey, and you jerking off to it is also very, very not the best thing to do. I'll say that. It's not very good.
In any kind of physical or emotional sense, because this 12-year-old girl you speak of never existed in the first place.
Well done addressing an argument that absolutely no one is making. The issue is the viewer, not the character. But
I'm not defending what Joey is saying is correct in any way. Or okay, I'm not saying that Joey is making a valid point to this video. I'm saying that I just want to say that I think Joey was answering a question which of which that was about where I think it was talking about how fuck, man, I don't want to talk about this shit. You know what? I think what he was saying was answering the question. So I don't think he should. I don't think Pax Tube should have talked about how bad an argument was, because the argument was specified towards a question. So, right, but hey man, it's extremely hard for me to talk about this subject because I have deep shame over a lot of this shit, and it's truly disgusting. I don't like it at all. It's deplorable, the things I've seen. It's really just shameful as a general, or in general is shameful.
But people who argue in favor of this do not do so in good faith. They are essentially all either terminally online porn addicts or actual pedophiles. You might find them on websites like Twitter, where their feed is nothing but them arguing with normal people who are against sexualizing children. One trend I've noticed with these people is how they make being a lolicon their entire personality. It's all they talk about. They have destroyed their life and identity so much with their porn habit that it's now all they can identify with. It would be a sad and pitiable state, if not for the fact that they desire to pull everyone else down with them. There's one particular case that should be noted here. On YouTube, there's a highly viewed video defending lolicon by a user named Mr. Cynical. He also goes by the name Burn or Rika, and you'll soon see why he's always changing his name. One of the key...
Not gonna lie, this anime was very, very sweet. It was very, very it was very sweet anime, and it's truly sad to see how much people are sexualizing it. You know, I watched this anime. It was extremely sweet. It was a good anime to watch. It was a development of characters. You know, just like a normal slice of life, where you just want to see a bunch of cute, adorable children. You know, not children, but they were like what, high schoolers? Oh, I forget. I think they were high schoolers, but yeah, they were very very cute. They knew not a lot about the world, and we started discovering more about the world. It was, I would say, it's a very good story. But yeah, it truly sucks because there's just so much stuff on hentai about it, man. It's like, and when I say, you know, the story was very very cute, it was very adorable. Everybody's calling me a lolicon and all this shit. I'm like, hey man, the story was just adorable. It was very cute. It's like watching what was it? Gumball, An Amazing World of Gumball, right? I've always found it really cute. It was, you know, it's just a bunch of what I believe to be children playing around and having fun. Yeah. It really sucks, man.
Key arguments of his video is that fiction supposedly doesn't impact a person in reality. Never mind all the science I just talked about. He claims that someone can be sexually attracted to animated children without being sexually attracted to real children. Well, Mr. Cynical later admitted to engaging in sex tourism in Thailand with child prostitutes.
Everyone's like, oh, you rape these children, you rape these children. I'm like, no, it's fuck rape. You know, that guy.
Well, you still fucked them, right?
Yeah, I had sex with them. Just
What the fuck?
And wait, that was in Thailand.
yes.
Whoa, wait.
Everyone's like, oh, you rape these children, you rape these children. I'm like, no, it's fuck rape. You know, that guy.
Well, you still fucked them, right?
Yeah.
Children? Wait, what the fuck?
I had
He's not denying it's
sex
children.
with them.
And wait, that was in Thailand.
Oh my.
Shit.
He also posted
Oh my.
sexualized pictures of his underage sister's feet to the internet.
Oh
This
my.
man spent an entire 40-minute video arguing how viewing child hentai doesn't make someone a pedophile, and then ended up being an active pedophile. Understand that this is the kind of person who defends lolicon.
That's what you call ironic.
Now with hentai, it isn't even just lolicon that's the problem. Hentai is full of disgusting and unnatural fetishes that it sells to its viewers.
Yup.
Rape, torture,
Yup.
bestiality,
Yup.
gore, it's all there.
Yup.
The hentai industry is actively creating people whose views of sex are utterly horrifying. And this doesn't just impact minors. As has been discussed, adults also suffer from many negative health outcomes, both physical and mental, from watching it. Hentai also shouldn't be seen as just a male problem. It certainly affects men the worst, but women, especially young women, are also badly impacted by it. Take this story of a girl whose boyfriend introduced her to hentai when she was just 16. I'll never forget the first hentai video he linked me. As an innocent girl who had rarely seen a naked body, the exaggerated childlike women and bold, confident men portrayed in the cartoons ensnared me at once. The more I watched, the more violent ones I saw, the darker my thoughts about sex and relationships became.
It's
One
deplorable.
day, I asked the boy if he would ever tie me up like the boys in hentai. He replied with the dirtiest, most graphically explained message about exactly what he planned to do.
Hey man, these two were probably still children. Truly sucks, man. I thank God I escaped. Thank God I escaped a lot of this shit, but you know, it's truly saddening. I don't know.
And there, I started with roleplay. Eventually, she did get out of that lifestyle, but she concludes by saying, "The scars of that secret online life dig deep."
Oh man.
So much for fiction having no effect on real life. Now, as usual in these videos, I want to debunk a few popular myths. But what about wholesome hentai? There isn't any such thing. All hentai depicts sex with the goal of inspiring lust in the viewer. If someone's addicted to vanilla porn, it doesn't change the fact that they're still addicted to porn.
Yeah, it's like if you're fucking masturbating to a bunch of fucking pictures drawn by a guy who was probably fat, then yeah, you're still fucking masturbating to a picture that a fat guy probably drew.
And it's still negatively affecting their lives. But it's just pixels. This is an obvious bad faith argument. Media of any kind is just pixels. Pixels are used to convey messages, and the substance of what's being portrayed is what matters. The effect it has on your mind doesn't magically disappear just because it's animated as opposed to being real life. Life is hard, just let people use their hentai.
You know, I'm a man. I understand that life is hard. It's way harder than a woman's life. That's what I believe. But hey, man, when life's hard, you gotta hustle harder. You gotta go get it harder. Seeing men like just sitting in the toilet liking hentai and just being like Nikocado avocado. It's really it makes me pity people. I feel a little bit. I feel like I pity them a bit. I'm sad, and in a way, I'm a bit angry too because, I understand how men feel because I'm a man myself. I've felt a lot of the problems that I feel like men have felt, and the more I talk to people, it's like we have all this equipment, we have nutrition facts that you can search up online, which would be better than any nutrition information you could have gotten in the 1930s. You could have our gyms are just so good and so cheap, $50 a month for like a UFC fighting gym, so good. Near my area, it was really good, and it truly kills me to see a fat man because there's so many possibilities for him to, or there's so much things out there that can make him a very successful man, and yet he chooses to be fat and chooses to let food have an unhealthy relationship with food. Yes, life is hard, man. I get it. I'm a man, but hey, keep your head up. Understand that just gotta hustle harder. If life's hard, just gotta hustle harder, man.
Life is hard, and hentai is one of the things that makes people's lives even worse. One of the final things worth saying about hentai is how it taints anime as a whole. Anime culture has the potential to be so much better than it currently is. When people who don't know anime assume the worst about it, it's usually because they think it's all hentai. A lot of people don't even realize that not all anime is pornographic or even sexual.
Yeah. I feel like anime is definitely it's a very, very artistic masterpiece, or not masterpiece, but it's extremely vivid and artistic. I think you gotta I think anybody has to see a little bit of the deeper animes, which would be, what was it? It's mainly in the, what was the genre called? Shit, I don't remember the genre. I haven't seen anime in a long time, but Attack on Titan. It's definitely, I would say it's a very big waste of time, but hey, if you have time on your hands, it's very artistic. It explores a few themes which are very interesting, and yeah, I think everybody should have check it out a little bit.
Anime has gained a lot more popularity in the last decade, but even that hasn't caused this negative association to go away. And frankly, it's because anime culture hasn't earned a better reputation. A lot of anime fans have become, for lack of a better word, Coomers. Popular anime YouTubers don't help this by shilling hentai and other porn in their videos.
Jesus Christ, man. Hentai has never looked so good. Yeah. I think her name was like Sydney or something. Hey, man. I think she's a sweet woman, but she's got to get some God in her life.
videos. You've likely seen their half-naked clickbait thumbnails before. Much like the mutually destructive relationship between the Coomer and the porn star, many anime YouTubers use hentai to attract their audience. This is not good. Look, if you care about anime, you should recognize that it could be doing so much better than this.
You looking for a fight with that sign? Franchising lollies? Pedophilia? You really looking for a fight?
I'll draw this video to a close as I did How Pornography Destroys Your Mind, by offering some solutions to the hentai problem. The most important thing that you need to understand is that things don't have to be this way. We don't have to live like this. We don't have to live in a society where people are exposed to horrifying sexual images on a daily basis. The first solution is obvious. If you personally look at hentai, quit immediately. Save yourself from the black hole it's pulling you into. It's not too late. You have the strength to quit if you put your heart and mind into it. There are more stories online every single day of people who successfully kicked their porn and hentai habits. Starve hentai creators the money they gather from poisoning you and millions of other people. Now obviously, at the same time, individuals quitting isn't the only thing that needs to be done. Hentai has become a society-wide problem, and thus we need to address it at the society-wide level. Major social media companies need to be pressured to change their policies and to remove hentai content. Some people will claim this can't be done, but it's already been done on websites like Instagram and Gab, both of which ban porn. Web service providers should also pull down hentai sites as well as other websites that continue to create and distribute it. But that's just in the private sector. Governments and voters can also act. Courts and laws must make it clear that hentai, especially in its worst forms, is not protected speech and can be banned. After all, for centuries free speech did not cover porn, and it was always understood that an individual's right to look at porn was trumped by the community's right to restrict it. To people who say that laws like this can't be enforced, I once again say that they already are being enforced. As we speak, many governments ban pornography and are quite effective at keeping it from going mainstream. Even we in America already enforce bans on child pornography. In the rare cases where someone gets it, they're thrown in prison and made an example out of. We merely need to expand that. Outlawing hentai should be part of a greater moral revival, where we take every measure in our power to get Western society back on track from the moral wasteland it's currently in. No solution here is perfect, but let's try our best to strive and achieve what those before us have failed to do. This has been Pax. Leave comments below letting me know your thoughts on all this. If anyone watching has stories of how they overcame a hentai habit, please share them. I and many others would love to read them. If this video interested you, be sure to watch my other video about pornography if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
Yeah, well, that's that, right? Man, it's an emotional roller coaster for me because, yeah, I've had a lot of personal experience with it. Not very proud of it, but I'm trying my best to quit. Trying my absolute best. All right, thank you all for watching. Hopefully, this video doesn't turn out too bad. The flu shot's absolutely killing me. I just ran for what? I ran like 2 miles today. It was, yeah. My legs are dying. I'm dying. Not very fun. Now, you know, if you were to ask me why did I run 2 miles after getting a flu shot? Hey, why not, right? I'm not no pussy. That's it. All right. See you guys. Bye-bye.